While they've become more affordable over the last few years, electric cars are still pretty darned expensive if you're in the market for a brand new one. Sure, it's now possible in some places with the right incentives to get an absolute steal of a deal, but most models on the market today are priced on par with mid to high spec internal combustion engine models. So what if I told you that you could make the switch from gasoline or petrol to electric while spending less on your new plug-in ride than your current monthly petrol bill? There's a way. And I'm about to show you using something that's akin to the creative accounting that Tesla uses on its website, but with less reliance on tax breaks. And as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not trained, I'm not even pretending to be one on YouTube. You are responsible for your own financial decisions in life, and you should always consult a trained financial planner before making any big purchase decisions, not rely on some fool on YouTube. First, let's start with a couple of assumptions. I'm going to assume that you already own your car and that you're paying somewhere between $140 and $160 per month for fuel to cover somewhere around 15,000 miles per year, which equates to about 41 miles per day on average. Obviously, since most of the world does pay more for its fuel than the US, that figure might be higher wherever you live. And I'm also going to assume that for those 15,000 miles per year, you're pretty much using your car as a commuter vehicle, and you live in a reasonably large city or suburb. If you live further out, this video may not be for you, but as I will explain later on, even if you do live further out of town, you might still be able to make this all work. The other assumption I'm going to make is that you've got a reasonably decent credit score. And by that, I mean that you're able to get an auto loan for the current US average interest rate of around 4.21% over 60 months. To get that, though, you'd need a credit score in the low 700s in the US, which translates to a good rating or higher. Assuming all of those are the case, and remember, interest rates do tend to go up for longer loans, so you may be able to get a lower interest rate over a shorter loan term. It's now possible to buy a used electric car like a Nissan Leaf, Chevrolet Spark EV, Smart for 2 ED, Fiat 500e, or even Mitsubishi i-MiEV for less than $5,500 used. For that, you're likely looking at a 6 or 7-year-old Leaf or a slightly newer example of the other three, with odometer readings of between 40 and 70,000 miles. They will likely have a small or maybe a little larger amount of battery degradation over their as-new range, and will likely come with just standard slow charging, although the Spark EV, Leaf, and i-MiEV did have optional quick charging. In terms of availability, a quick search on cars.com, no, they're not sponsoring this video, I just used their site for the info, shows that the Smart for 2 and Nissan Leaf are the most commonly found models at that price, but Spark EV, Fiat 500e, and yes, even the occasional i-MiEV are available at that price. I'm not going to go, though, into how to buy a used EV because that's something I'm hoping to do in a different video. But obviously it goes without saying that you need to carry out all the usual due diligence before you commit to buying, including checking documentation and a mechanical check of the vehicle. So back to my buy for less than your monthly gas bill. If you put all of those figures into a loan calculator, you'll discover that for a 60-month loan at 4.21%, you'll be paying just about $102 a month for your car. Reduce that to a 36-month loan term, which is 3 years, and you'll increase the payment to $163 a month. But Nikki, I hear you say, what about the fuel? So if we assume an average fuel economy of around 30 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, an annual mileage of 15,000 miles, and an average cost of 12 US cents per kilowatt hour, again, make your own adjustments according to your own local currency and figures, then it's going to cost around $540 per year to fuel up your metaphorical car, or about $45 per month. Even if we add that to our 60-month loan, we're still at a lower cost of the car and the fuel combined than just the fuel alone for an internal combustion engine vehicle. Yes, you still have to worry about insurance and maintenance, but since electric vehicles require less maintenance than an internal combustion engine vehicle, because there are fewer moving parts, you do stand to save some money there too. Which brings me to the caveat: range. These used second-hand cars are going to have smaller ranges than today's brand new electric cars. You're going to find a full to empty charge will give you somewhere between 55 and 80 miles, depending on the car's battery pack condition and its capabilities, as well as temperature and how you drive. But if we go back to our regular assumption that our 15,000 miles per year equates to a daily drive of less than 41 miles, well, that's still less than the limited range of these older EVs. And with the savings you make from lower maintenance and running costs, you could, of course, set up a car rental fund for the days when you need to do longer distance travel. For weekday commuting, though, the above scenario is hard to beat unless you're someone who wants to use a bicycle instead. What if you live out of town? Well, there is still hope. My personal daily commute to and from this studio is 50 miles. I recently moved out to a fairly rural location, and it's above the 41 miles of a 15,000 mile per year target. Except I opt to work from home 1 day a week, and I save myself 50 miles, thus bringing my weekly mileage allowance back under target. While you may not be able to work from home 1 day a week, it's worth remembering that most people's daily commutes are well below that figure anyway. Have you looked into buying a cheaper used electric car? Did you prove that it is possible to buy a car on just gas money saved alone? And what has your experience been of it all? Don't forget to let me know below. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.